Hello, welcome back to Sports Zone. I am Muftar Nabila Abla. Show proud and brought to you by Guinness. Yes, we can. Give 4 in 1 Gary Soakins mix. And my Gary Soakins are easy. And also Piva natural mineral water. And then the game energy, feel the energy. They have made it possible for us to be here tonight talking sports. And as I mentioned just before we took the break, we are taking it from athletics all the way up to football. And in the World Athletics Championships, there's a new man who is the gold medalist in the men's 100 meters. There's also a new woman who is also the gold medalist in the women's 100 meters. Melissa Jefferson, she won the women's 100 meters yesterday. And the men's 100 meters was won by Oblique Seville. Let's take a look at the highlights of these races. And then when we come to studio, we'll have a conversation. Mondo Duplantis. Wow. At just 24, 14 records. He set his own records and he broke them. Quite an incredible athlete. And a privilege to have witnessed him set some of these records at close range. Hi. Well, I'll be coming to the studio. I've been joined in the studio by Victor Achutamaklo, who is on my far left, and Samuel Eko Apia, who is also joining me in studio.
You're not getting my name right.
I always struggle to get it right.
You can choose to simply call me Samuel Apia, or you can choose to call me Samuel Eko Apia.
Is the name a compound name? The Amoisi Apia.
Amoisi Apia.
Is it a compound name?
Yeah.
Okay, so Samuel
Eko
Amoisi
Apia.
You alone 5 names.
4. The Eko Apia name that you mentioned is actually a very, very popular name in the Western region in Turkey.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He's a popular Sekini Azakes fan. In fact, if you listen to Kofi Kinate's Made in Tadi song, it was Eko Apia who did the intro.
Oh, really?
Which is, that intro itself is an adaptation of a popular chant he came up with for Azakis.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, quite an interesting one.
So
I've just been educated.
He's sort of Takradi's own Apia Stadium.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's as in the same character?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But he's not popular. Like the way this appears.
Super popular.
No, this Apia Stadium is popular in one aspect, right? The Kumasi Apia Stadium.
Both.
Really?
Both. So you would find that Apia Stadium moved away from what he used to do in the past. So this face of him has always been there, right? But back then, he was your radio hype man for the big games in the Ghana Premier League. He was the guy who would promote big on his Hearts of Oak and Kotoko. Those games, he, Ali Maradona, and a few of those guys around that time.
I remember Ali Maradona, Kanawu, may so rest in peace. There was another person too, when it comes to hyping matches like this. Yeah, I recall. So
Eko Apia is in that mood. Except that this new face of Apia Stadium that annoys a lot of people, it has been with Eko Apia since.
Maybe it only annoys you. It doesn't annoy many other people.
No, not me. I said a lot of people.
Maybe let's take a wrap of the athletics events that happened. My colleague Fenty Utahiru, he's been watching the events at close range, and he put together this report. Fenty actually looks younger here. Yeah, he looks younger here. I wonder what he's done to himself to look that young.
But what happened to his beard?
First, what happened to your beard?
It looks like midway through the hair transplant, the doctor retired. Or midway through the hair transplant, the doctor suddenly saw the receipt from Fence Payments, and then realized that Charlie, the guy in the Nisi Council.
First, who walked behind you? No? I saw someone walk behind you. Who be that person? The person that was asleep.
My roommates, we all don't sleep. We are journalists covering a major international competition with an impossible time zone to deal with. 9 hours is not easy. We're doing Sports Zone late night in Accra at 9 p.m. It's 6 a.m. here. And I only got back, in fact, we only got back to the hotel around 2:30 a.m. So imagine if we
If you
went
were
to
to sleep,
sleep,
yeah.
it would be impossible to wake up at 6 a.m. to file this report. So you just had to stay on and get this over with before we can catch some sleep. The good news is tomorrow there's no morning session, so we don't have to be up early
When you say tomorrow,
to
you say
go to the
today.
stadium.
Say
So the
today.
evening session also starts at 6 p.m. Japan time, which is roughly around 9 a.m. Ghana time, which means that right after this report, we can sleep and wake up at midday and people would not have issues with it. So the time zone has made it really impossible to catch any sort of quality sleep at the time that people are used to. But I think it takes a bit of adjustment. But for now, I think we've sort of adjusted to the time difference. And we are journalists from all around the continent, Ugandans, Kenyans here, all dealing with different time zones, Americans here, so it might be 9 p.m. in Ghana, it's 6 a.m. in Japan, it's 5 p.m. or it's 4 p.m. in the United States. So you can imagine the American journalists that are here, the times that they also have to be filing reports. So it's crazy all around. And, it's really impossible. This is the first time I'm dealing with such a massive difference in time zone. By traveling for a competition, I've done the US, which usually is between 4 and 5 hours. Europe is usually 2 hours, sometimes 1 hour. Um, but yeah, Japan, it's
But
impossible, my
Oregon
brother.
was
It's
7 hours,
nine
or
hours ahead. That's almost half a day. It's crazy.
Oregon was 7 hours, or because I remember the times they needed me to do
Yes,
AM. It was 7 a.m. in Ghana, 11 p.m. in Oregon. Yeah, I recall that. But now let's talk
exactly.
about the events. Saturday, Sunday. You watched the Ghanaian athletes at close range. Rashid made it to the semi-final. Unfortunately, Azamati could not make it. Talk to me. What was their body language like after their races?
I think Azamati was probably the most disappointed between those two for obvious reasons. He's an athlete that carried a lot of hope and a lot of promise when he first broke into the scene. The problem with Azamati, however, is that he's not been lucky or hasn't delivered when it's mattered most for him, especially on the individual level. And I think that's what explains his disappointment um, on Saturday. And at the mix zone, he was sat on the floor for quite a while before he was able to compose himself to even speak. And you saw the interview that Alfosu posted after. He said it was him, that there was no excuse. Even he couldn't explain what happened. And the misfortune that I speak about is that Azamati, he set the national record back in 2021. I believe he was running supremely, superbly. And then in 2022, the World Championship was in 2022. He was supposed to carry that momentum into the World Championships. And he went into the World Championships. And again, you were there in Oregon. He didn't even make the semi-final. He was very disappointed. Then that very year, he had a chance to redeem himself at the Commonwealth Games, where a lot of top athletes didn't show up. He did well to get to the final, and he was expected to medal largely. And again, in that competition, he couldn't medal. There were athletes from Thailand that were medaling, but Azamati couldn't get a medal. And then in the relays, he was putting a lot of his hope on the relays because Ghana had a really good relay team. The team qualified for the final. Azamati ran in that heat, only for the team to get disqualified for the official mishap that happened, a story that was well publicized.
Yeah.
So he left that competition with nothing. In a year where he set the national record and was and has signed up a new professional contract and was deemed to be an athlete on the rise, and they needed something tangible to show. It didn't happen for him. 2023, the same thing. He went to Budapest. He had a professional contract, then was running with ASICS. He went to Budapest. The momentum was good. In fact, he didn't go to Budapest, I beg your pardon. So he had massive issues. It didn't really run the individual
In fact, that
race.
was where he got injured prior to the
He got injured,
event.
exactly. He had massive issues, so he didn't go to Budapest, so he missed Budapest. And then the following year started with the African Games, right, in March in 2024. And he was running well up until March. When he came, the field at the African Games wasn't so deep. There were not a lot of top African sprinters that were there. Manyala, Kani Simbine, all those that you expected to be running faster than him were not at the African Games. And again, it was a competition where we all had a lot of big hopes for Azamati that he would medal. In the African Games as well, he made the final, but he did not medal. Another disappointing outcome for him. He didn't go to the African Championships in June in Cameroon because he was concentrating a bit more on the Olympic Games. He was preparing for the Olympic Games. And then he qualified for the Olympic Games via the ranking. And he went into Paris with big, big hopes. In Paris, he did well. He made the semi-final. Missing out in the final in Paris was not a big deal at all because we all saw how that Paris final unfolded. One of the biggest, if not the fastest, 100-meter final in history, where every single athlete in that final ran a sub 10 time. The whole of that season, Azamati hadn't run a single sub 10 time. So, so not making the final made sense, but he made the semifinals, which was significant progress from what he had experienced in previous major championships. So this year, he was supposed to carry that momentum because a natural progression after making a semi-final at the Olympic Games, the next World Championship, you expect that he would improve and he would make at least another semi-final and try to fight for a place in the final. He ran in the heat. He didn't even make the semi-final. So you can understand why he was so disappointed. And it's not for a lack of hard work. He's worked really, really hard. The thing about the sprint is that sometimes if it doesn't come together for you, it just won't work. And you can be fast. And we saw that from Noah Lyles yesterday. It's not that, or we saw that from Tibogo yesterday when he got disqualified. So the 100 meters, so much can happen. Look at Oblique Seville in the heats. He almost didn't qualify. If he didn't have such great top end speed, he would not have been able to recover in those heats to qualify for the semifinals. And we could have been speaking about 100 meters without Oblique Seville because it almost didn't happen for him. So sometimes that's why I started by saying he's being a bit unlucky. Maybe psychologically he needs a bit of help because it's not that he's not, because if you look at the times he's running, they're good enough to be making the semi-finals, at times even the final. But every time it's the major competition, it just doesn't click. It just doesn't happen. So that explains why he was the most disappointed. As for Rashid, I think back-to-back semi-finals at major competitions. He made the semi-final in Paris, another semi-final for him. Obviously, he wanted to make the final, but the drama that overshadowed his semi-final always can get into the heads of athletes. And he admitted a little later that it might have affected him because he was thinking too much about, not getting disqualified and all of that. So he didn't get off the blocks too early, got left behind, finished fourth, didn't make the final. But he's happy that he made back-to-back semifinals in major competitions. It's good progress for him. He got noticed, and if you look at the heat in which he ran, it was a very stacked heat. To get out of it in the first place was superb. So in the end, what he told us was that he's happy that he's done with university right now, so he can focus more on his professional running career. And I think he's also got a contract now, and he can focus on running on running full time. And I think that's the path that Azamati took, is the path that Joe Paul took. Hopefully, once Rashid takes that path, it will make him better. This season, he has shown that he's capable of running sub 10 times multiple times. And all the top athletes, to get contracts, you need to be able to guarantee that you can run a lot of the sub 10 times consistently. That's what the Nigerian did. Kayinsola Ajayi. This season
Okay.
alone, he's run like 4 sub 10 times. It's unbelievable. So all the best to him. I think they would feel that there's redemption that awaits them in their relays, which get underway on Saturday. So we'll see what happens.
Let's look forward to 3 more events for Ghana: the 800 meters, the 200 meters, and the women's high jump. Have you seen the athletes?
And the relays.
Yes, and the relays as well. In fact, 4 events for Ghana left. Have you seen the athletes? Talk to us about preparations for these events.
Yeah, they've been training well. I spoke to Ibrahim. He's in action on Wednesday, the 200 meters. The one that's up next tomorrow is Alexa Mankwa
Yes.
in the 800 meters. He also missed Budapest, also missed Paris. The last time he was at a major championship was back in Eugene in 2022. There, he qualified to the semifinals, if I remember correctly.
In fact, he was disqualified, actually. It was a
And
DQ.
then, no, that's what I was getting to, that he qualified from the heat only to be disqualified for lane violation, which was very disappointing for him. So I think, and he came to the African Games as well, made the final, but he didn't medal. And he's the most experienced member of this team. He's 34. His first major championship was back in London in 2017. So we are talking some 7 years ago. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. He's a national record holder in the event, and he's experienced. But I'm looking at the times that he's run this season, and you're comparing him to the other top 800-meter runners around the world, like Emmanuel Wanyonyi, and you know that he's a tad bit behind in terms of where the levels that are required to be competing for glory. But I think that if he can make the semi-final, realistically, that would be deemed a good achievement for him personally, because he's never made the semi-final at any of these major global championships. And that explains why he was so disappointed in Oregon, because he had originally made the semi-final before being disqualified. Tuesday will be Ibrahim Husseini. Unfortunately for him, in the 200 meters, he's not run a lot of races this season, mostly because his university in the US is transitioning from a D2 school to a D1 school. And usually when you're doing that, your school has to stay out of competition for at least a certain period until a determination is made on your school's application. So because of that, you notice that this season he's not run a lot of individual races, but we saw bits of him at the World Relays in Guangzhou back in March. He has shown that he got great top end speed, but coming into major championships like this, speed alone is just not enough. You need perfect execution. You need race management. You need, to figure out how to run the different aspects of your race. Training alone is also just not enough. Getting off the block. Your drive phase, your transition phase, and all of those things. You need to test them in real life race situations. It appears that he's been doing an awful lot of training and very little participation. So,
okay.
Again, we'll see how he fares on Wednesday. I think Rose is in action on Thursday in the women's high jump qualification. And then Rose as well. She finished second in the NCAAs this season. Last year, she won the competition. And this year, her highest jump has been 1.93. Last year, she jumped 1.97. So it's clear that her form is dipping a little bit. But I guarantee you, if she can even jump 1.93 at these championships, she will make the final. She was a bit disappointed last year because last year the bronze winning jump last year was the jump that Rose made to win the NCAA championships.
In
The
fact,
the
the
bronze
bronze
people
medal
jump
winning jump was 1.95. Rose had actually done 1.97.
1.97.
Yeah.
There you go. So if she could even match what she jumped at the NCAAs at the Olympic Games, she potentially could have medaled. I
Okay.
don't expect the bronze winner at these championships to be jumping more than 1.97. And Rose
Okay.
is capable of reaching those heights.
Okay.
Again, it's a major competition, and a lot of things need to come together for it to work out. I hope it does for Rose, because if she makes the final, there is real potential there of her getting on the podium. For the
Okay.
relay team, I think we can speak fully about that after Ibrahim Husseini is done, because I think he would be key in the success of this team or otherwise, because we saw in Guangzhou that he is a very, very important member of this relay team.
That's
Joe
true.
Paul, a bit disappointing, obviously, that he's not competing in the individual 200. He didn't qualify, also didn't qualify in the same individual 200 event at the Paris Olympic Games, even though that very year he won gold at the African Games in March.
Yeah.
So he's here just for the relays.
Yeah.
And that weight, Muftau, can be a bit frustrating,
That's
because
true.
imagine coming here on Tuesday and having to wait maybe 2 weeks
Yeah.
to get onto the track. And if it doesn't happen for you, it can turn out to be a very, very disappointing outcome.
That's true.
So I really do hope that everything comes together, because these athletes have worked so hard over the years, and they need something to show for all of those years of. I
Of
mean,
hard
obviously
work.
they have African Games medals and all of that, but you know what I mean. At global championships,
That's
they've
true.
been making the
Yeah.
finals consistently. But Muftau, the last two major global championships that our relay team has competed in, it has not gone well. Budapest, they had two injuries and didn't compete. They had to pull out. So we didn't even get to see them run. In Paris, we saw the Merci baton change that happened, and they ended up even getting disqualified
Yeah.
in the end. They have a history of disqualification. They made the final in Tokyo at the Olympic Games, got disqualified in the final. Before that, remember, they also made the final at the World Relays in Silesia,
Silesia.
only
Yeah.
to get disqualified in the final. So out of the last five major competitions, and then also in Birmingham, they got disqualified.
That's true.
So they've been disqualified in Silesia, disqualified in Tokyo, disqualified in Birmingham, disqualified in Paris. It is not acceptable
Okay,
how that
thanks.
keeps happening.
Thanks. I wish we could tackle some of the other African athletes who were at the championship, but due to time constraints, we'll have you subsequently to talk about those, especially Tebogo after his disqualification. I saw that interview you had with him. Toby Musan, who was actually a bit excited. I saw that interview as well. What she was saying, when I go pay you, did you people pay her?
Yeah, I mean, just something briefly on Toby. I think that she's probably the greatest Nigerian athlete of all time, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
I agree.
And I said that she's the second greatest African female athlete of all time, only behind Faith Kipyegon,
That's true.
to be honest,
That's true.
because I don't think there's another woman athlete that have female athlete on the continent that has achieved as much as she has.
That's true.
And I'm happy that it all came together for her tonight, because ever since she became world champion and world record holder in 2022, she's always had a target on her back. She went to the 2023 championships, and the journalists were pummeling her from all around the world. And fair play to her. She doesn't speak to global media as much. She just goes straight to the African media, because she knows that we will protect her.
Oh, that's
And
true. That's true. Yeah, I get
because
that.
she, yeah, she knows that will protect her and all that. So I'm happy that she got a medal. Um, and during the mix zone, she was watching. I think she and the journalists were watching Mundo Duplantis. I was in the stadium, Yao Ovosula Bilete told me this story that she was watching. They were watching uh, the the pole vault
The
event. You know,
provost.
the hurdles event happened just before the pole vault event, and so by the time she got to the mix zone, Duplantis was attempting his last jump, his 6.30 jump, and once he made it and sped all the way to the stands to hug his girlfriend and kiss his girlfriend, Toby apparently said, "Now, wow, I don't get husband. I go kiss for him."
Thank you very much.
And that's
Thank
not
you.
because she's not married. It's again one of those things where her husband couldn't get a visa to travel because the documents that they needed to provide him to apply for the visa
Yeah.
didn't arrive on time or was not the right document. Again, these things always very familiar stories
Yeah.
with Africa, with the AFN. The Nigerian Federation have made the headlines here, Mufta, for all the wrong reasons yet again.
Over
One of
JC.
their
I remember the
athletes-
JC issue. Yeah.
Exactly. The Jesse issue, one of their athletes also said they forced him to run when he wasn't fit.
Oh, yes.
And then
Yes.
we know that they came to this competition without a single relay team because they failed to register their relay team for the World Relays where teams went to compete for qualification to this event. It's unbelievable.
Fetty, we'll have to
And-
leave it here. Thank you very much. Go and catch some sleep. Go catch some sleep. Thank you. Fetty Tahiru, editor Joyce.
Tell Achu that he should stop commenting on my beard. He started with my hair, now he's taking it to my beard. Ask him, what is his problem? Look, I have a new haircut. My hair is down. I'm looking superb. The Japanese women are drooling over me, and I'm showing them my ring. all
This
the
thing you are
time.
saying is that, where is the ring? Your wife is watching, oh.
Yes, that's what I said. I said the Japanese
This is
women
your
are
idea of
drooling
looking
over me.
superb.
And I'm showing them my ring. So I'm walking around like this.
This
Can you see me?
this is your idea of looking superb.
You come and meet your wife. You come and meet your wife down here.
Look, we'll create a GoFundMe for Fence. We'll go and talk to the doctor who was doing the hair transplant, that he needs to finish what he has started.
Hair transplant where? Is
For
it
the
hair
beard.
transplant or beard
Because
transplant?
this one,
This one is beard transplant.
Fosulabi told me. So midway through the transplant, he saw the receipt of Fence payment and realized that it was half price.
The man doesn't have
So,
money.
So the doctor
hold
said
This thing you are
on.
saying, yeah, I'll just sit there behind him.
Oh yeah. He can corroborate the story.
Okay, so
The doctor said
Achu
he cannot
Achu
continue with the hair
is forcing-
transplant
So Achu is
for
saying
half
that
price.
I'm poor.
He cannot continue with the hair transplant.
I say the
for
Fetty
half
is
price.
poor. I say the Fetty is poor.
I'm saying that
Is he poor?
he paid half the price.
Oh, I asked a close-ended question. Yes or no? Is Fenty poor? I think Fenty is poor.
You are introducing a whole new conversation. I'm saying that he
Just
paid
take a
half
break.
price.
We are taking a break. When we come back, Fenty has already dealt with the athletics matter. So when we just come back, we'll talk about the other issues, especially that document you had from King Faisal taking the Ghana Football Association to the Court of Arbitration for Sport over Congress' decision to extend the tenure.
Before you go, if you allow me a few minutes on Oblique Seville, he nearly missed the World Championships.
Who?
Oblique Seville.
Yeah, sure.
Because just before the final of the national championships in Kingston, Jamaica, he said he felt a strain in his thigh.
Yeah.
And then an issue also in his ankle. So he nearly pulled out of that one. He didn't. Now, if he doesn't make the time he did for the national championships, he doesn't come to the World Championships.
Oh, yeah. Jamaica, that's how they operate.
It's-
Jamaica, US, Canada, that's how they all operate. Yeah.
But then again, you look at his trajectory in the last couple of years, and you can understand why he would put himself through that pain barrier because, look, and I was surprised, some people were surprised by the fact that he won. If there is one athlete who has proven that he can beat Letile Tebogo and Noah Laos consistently, he's the guy. He did it last year in the Jamaican Grand Prix when he ran a world lead in 9.82 seconds last year. This year, he's beat both of them in just 2 months ago. I think at the London Diamond League.
Yeah.
He beats both of them to it. And he's an anomaly in the sense that, and I was watching the interview before this, and he was explaining why his physicality and his height and the size was an issue because your average sprinter is 5'11". He is 5'7". 5'7" is the standard height for female sprinters.
Almost same height as myself.
All right. So he is disadvantaged. But he says in his very first conversation with Glenn Mills, the legendary Glenn Mills who trained Usain Bolt and now trains him, he told him that this is the peculiar situation with you, but we will work around it. And he has put in the shift. And look, if you look at the trajectory, finished 4th on 2 occasions in the last 3 years at the World Championships. In the last 18 months, he has beaten both the Olympic and the World Champion consecutive times and on one occasion in Jamaica with a world-leading time. If there was
even at the Olympics, he did 9.84.
There you go.
Which was, had it not been for the 977, that 979, these guys, Kinshin, and then
Look,
Noah Lyles it.
If there's one man who has proven over the years that he can hack it against Tebogo Lyles, he is the man. I'm just going to conclude by saying that if you look through the Jamaican list of greats at the Olympics, there is one storyline, which is the college system. Look, the very first man to have won a medal at the Olympics, Arthur Wentz, came through the legendary Calabar High School. Warren Wire came from the same high school. Yeah? Herbert McKinley, who's the only man...
Now I'm getting excited because of this story.
Who's the only man in living memory to have made the final of the Olympics in 100 meters, 200 meters, and 400-meter events, also came from the Calabar High School. Every single great Jamaican athlete traces his roots to the Boys and Girls Championships, what they call champs over there.
Yeah.
You can't get athletics right if your schools and college sports are not properly funded with strong funding for each school. And you see, over there...
This one is a simple message to Ghana.
They don't have an elitist approach to say that,
I need to take a break.
We're giving the best resources or the significant portion of our resources to the schools in the Ashanti region because they produce strong schools. No, there's a reason almost every school in Jamaica has produced someone worth mentioning.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
In one discipline
or the other, that's true.
Because
that's
the resources are evenly distributed. It is consistent, and there is a known revolving fund. There is a known revenue source for sports funding, for athletics, and for juvenile and youth athletics funding.
I mean, about 2 years ago, I was asked to assist in drafting a certain policy for some institutions. And in the course of my research, especially for countries like Canada, USA, Jamaica, I came across all these things. And there needs to be a very deliberate plan for you to be able to succeed when it comes to track and field events. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not also willing to succeed. We are taking a quick break. When we come back, Ghanaian players abroad, Thank you, everyone, for sticking and staying with us. There's a very important message I want to read. My director didn't say it, Pamela didn't say it, but Belinda, all the way from Ho, has seen it. She says I look cute.
Your wife is watching.
Your girlfriend is watching.
She's watching.
I
didn't say anything. I didn't patronize any suspicious
Belinda, thank you very
message.
much. Send me another message. You say I look cute. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Add another one.
Interesting.
Interesting, sorry.
you know the only acceptable response a married man should give to such a compliment. Thank you very much. My wife told me when I was coming.
No, that's not true.
Hey, but I'm surprised. But you're not married, and you know all this.
Don't marry himself. Because you don't marry her.
I have a lot of married friends. That's what
Karim is on standby with Ghanaian players abroad. Why are you pocketing your phone? Bring it out. It's not where the numbers are.
Karim is not old, though. The brain is still sharp, so he can remember.
Okay, Karim.
He's not like us.
How are you? Welcome to Sports Zone. Last week, we missed you.
Oh, it's been 3 weeks, too.
Yeah, 3 weeks back to back.
But when I'm coming back...
You went to Viviani, then Black Star.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been away for a very long time. Joseph was with us last week. Joseph.
Really?
Yes, he joined us via Zoom.
I see.
Yeah. Talk to us. What do you have there?
When I'm coming back, I'm coming back with a bang. You see, this team, look at this team. You don't think I can win the AFCON with this team. Like, for free. For free.
Without $50,000 a month.
No, for free, like nothing.
Ziggy.
Oh, Muftau, you there, let me just deal with it.
You go through for me.
You see, every year, Right to Dream, they have a gift for Ghana.
Okay. This year, who is the gift?
Around 2020, Mohamed Kudus, Kamal Dean, Noama, Ibrahim Osman, Kalibi Renchi, and now the new one, the one that we should look out for, is Prince Amoaku Jr. I was fortunate to see him at the academy around, I think last year, when we went to interview Venom.
Yeah.
And they told us that he was going there around early this year.
Yeah.
And when he went, he was injured, so he couldn't really get to start the season with, like, he couldn't end the season with them actually. But this season, in 8 matches he has played, he has scored 4 times and provided 1 assist. And over the weekend, that is like, I think, 2 days ago.
So averaging a goal every two games,
2
right?
games, yes, he scores a goal. So over the weekend they played, that is Northern, they played against Midtjylland, and he scored the only goal, I think, around the 8th minute, and they won that game, 1-0. And this season, he has a goal every 2 games he plays.
Very soon, Otoado will call him.
He's just 18. That is like, it's about when. It's not going to take long. You will see him in the Black Stars, Prince Amoaku Jr. Very versatile. He plays as a left winger mostly, but you know, these players from Right to Dream, they can play anywhere around the front positions. Then the veteran in the team, Jordan Ayew, he also scored his first goal for Leicester against Oxford, that is in the championship. And they drew 2-2 in that game. Abdul Fattah Isaac was also in that game. He provided an assist as well, and that is his second, and scored 1 goal as well. Then Abdul Fattah Isaac would have been in contention for a place with Semenyo, but Semenyo, he played for Bournemouth as well, and they won 2-1 against Brighton, and Semenyo scored in that game and provided an assist, man of the match performance from him. It means that this season in the Premier League, if you are looking at players with the most goal contributions, he's among those leading that chart.
So what happened when he came to the Accra Sports Stadium?
That thing is a mental thing, no? That's why I said, just give me the job for free and I'll deal with it. See, what I'm saying is that actually this season in the Premier League, there are 3 players with 5 goal contributions. That is Semenyo, Haaland, and then Joao Pedro of Chelsea. So after, I think, 4 or 5 games in the Premier League, he's having 5 goal contributions, 3 goals and 2 assists. Then Kalibi Renchi also plays with Prince Amoaku Jr., that is North Zealand winning 1-0 against Midtjylland. And in that game as well, he attempted 90 passes, and out of those 90 passes, he completed 84 of them. That is huge.
That's a massive success.
Playing as a wing back for me. Then let's talk about Kojo Pepraopon. He plays for Nice. That is, they won again throughout the season since he moved to Ligue 1. Playing for Nice, he has been excellent for them, and again against Nantes over the weekend, they won 1-0, and all the tackles he attempted in that game, he won all of them, 2 out of 2. Then Patrick Pfeiffer, he's also moved to a club that he's more familiar with, that is Darmstadt, and they play in the Bundesliga 2, and he's a very good passer of the ball. In that game, he made 66 passes. That is Darmstadt winning 2-1 against Eintracht Braunschweig. And they won that game 2-1, and he was the player to complete the most passes as well. Then Mohamed Salisu, the first start for him for Monaco, they won 2-1 against AJ Auxerre. His first start since February this year. He has not started a game for Monaco. And when he started for them, unfortunately for him, he couldn't show some awareness. A shot came in with a lot of pace. Instead of turning away from his post, he turned inside the post, and the ball hit him on goal. But actually, in that game, if you are looking at, you will know that how excellent he can be when he's passing the ball. And out of 93 passes he attempted in that game, he completed 85 of them.
If he scores that own goal, you will struggle to win the AFCON. Let's move on.
But actually, you know, he's so good, but those little mistakes that he needs to cut out. The last game he played for them in the Champions League, that's against Benfica in February, he made an error. And since then, he has not started the game for them. Even the call-up he got, we know how instrumental he was against Mali and he won that game. So he can be good, but the mistakes. Then Abu Francis, he made his debut for Toulouse and they won 1-0. And they actually lost 2-1, that is against Lille. But in that game, he attempted, all the tackles he attempted, he won all of them. But he had to wait a little because of fitness issues. Then Baba Al-Hassan plays for FCSB, that is Steaua Bucharest, that is in Romania, and they drew 1-1. In the game, he also attempted the tackles. He won all of them as well. Then Baba Rahman provided an assist for Pauk and also won the most tackles in the game. Our players did
Ghana will get talents.
but let me just mention some few players that have also scored or assisted, just like 5 of them, but didn't make the team. So I have Christopher Babos. He plays for Al Qadsiya now, and they drew 2-2 against Al Hilal. And in that game, he scored the first goal in the game, 8 minutes into the game.
I noticed at Al Qadsiya, they are deploying him from the left.
Yes, and you know, when he was at Genk, he preferred playing
on the right.
So yeah. So then, Kweku Gaucho. When you hear that, you should know the kind of player.
Ronaldinho Gaucho,
an exciting player. He plays for Spartak Subotica, that is in Serbia, and they lost to Partizan Belgrade, but he scored in that game, came off the bench and scored. Then Joseph Opoku played for the Ghana under-20 team at the AFCON recently and was key for Zulte Waregem, that is in the Belgian top flight, them gaining promotion to the Belgian top flight. He was key for them, and he provided his 3rd assist of the season against OH Leuven. Then Isaac Nuhu, he also scored and provided an assist for Upin versus Boran. Then Augustin Boachi is on form, actually. Plays for Saint-Etienne, again scored for them over the weekend. They won against Clermont-Foot. Then Bonsuba, as I just mentioned. So that is the summary.
Okay, thank you very much, Karim Benin, for bringing us Ghanaian players abroad. Hopefully you will not go away for that very long time again.
I'm here to stay.
I wanted to just touch at you something briefly. Now, let me start with Samuel on this. The Ghana Premier League started this weekend. Kotoko won for the first time in Brekum in 15 years. Hearts of Oak drew at the Accra Sports Stadium against Hohoe United. Talk to me about the return of the Ghana Premier League briefly.
Well, I think it's good. The excitement, I mean, I think it's a bit okay. We see a bit of improvement around, people having conversation around it this time around, because I believe because of the investment that has been made by the government for the games that we're playing.
Is it actually government? People keep saying government.
We know that it's the government who is doing this. You know, the FA has struggled all these years, and I mean, a government comes into power and says that this is what I'm going to do for you, and it comes and then goes according to what he promised. And so for me, I think that, I believe, has really gotten people to talk about this. I mean, the Premier League. Back to the games that were played, especially, I think Saturday we were here, we spoke extensively about the Hearts of Oak game. I think that for Hearts of Oak, for me, I said on Saturday, I'm going to reiterate that point again. I mean, Mufti, I think I was hugely disappointed with Hearts of Oak. I mean, playing with, against a numerical disadvantaged side, and then you couldn't, especially also a debutant in the Ghana Premier League. I mean, you expect them to capitalize on some of these things to, get the points, the needed points. And then there's another thing I highlighted on Saturday. I think that the build-up has been okay, but I think that they still need somebody up, the final third to convert the chances. I think second half, yes, they didn't really get any shots, on target, but I think that if you really want to challenge for the Premier League title, you need to get in somebody up front that can get you the goals. You know, if you concede, you know that somebody will be there to score for you, which I think that Satsefok really need to get that person up front. And I think they don't have it at the moment. I think that, as the season,
window is shut.
They are already under ban. Until that one is also settled, then it means that Satsefok can't go in for any striker or any player for now. So I think that, last week, Saturday, I made mention that Didi is a very brilliant manager, but I think that he finds himself in a very, very tight situation.
Okay.
With regards to the game between Chelsea and Kotoko, I think it was a very good game, to be honest with you. For Kotoko, I think that they have really put together a very decent team, a team that I believe that they
Despite
can go.
the injury situation?
Yeah, I mean, for the injury situation, that is only had to do with only Kwame Poku for now. Of course, there are some people in there that are yet.
I heard Karim Zito mention about 4 players that he has.
Yeah, I mean, ahead of the game, I mean, he spoke about some. I think there are about 2 or 3 players that are also injured. But I mean, compared to those players that are still on the, I mean, injury bed, I think that the Kwame Poku one is a big blow, especially taking on Kwara United this weekend, and then you go in for the return leg. If you qualify, you come up against, I mean, Wydad. If Kwame Poku does not recover, then I think that they are in a very, very tight situation. But on the game against, I mean, Chelsea, I think that he watched Kotoko play, and I think they have a very, very good team.
Okay.
But for me, that injury especially, I think playing against Kwara United, yeah, I mean, not a very difficult opponent, but I think if they're able to go past them...
Many people disagree with you. No. Let me take the results of matches that were played in the Ghana Premier League. We have Hearts of Oak drawing 0-0 against Ahoy United. Brecum Chelsea started home and lost 1-0 to Asante Kotoko. Bibiani Gold Stars, defending champions of the competition, won 2-1 against Bechem United. Heart of Lions won 1-0 against Dreams FC. Basaka Holy Stars and Techime 11 Wonders played at a 0-0 stalemate. Techime 11 Wonders is now Legon Cities. Vision FC drew 0-0 against Samatex. Young Apostles lost 2-0 to Mediama SC. Kerala United won 1-0 against Indiana Stars. And Nations FC also won 2-0 against Swedru All Blacks. Achu, briefly, on the return of the Ghana Premier League, within a minute, let's do the King Faisal thing that we'll talk about Guinea's mighty impact.
I think it was good, but from the opening weekend, there are lessons to be learned. Some of them can be fixed now. Of the ones that can be fixed now, it has to be, the quality of the football has to improve. The fixture scheduling also has to change because I think the FA has to be deliberate in making sure that they put the biggest storylines in our faces. For me, it was unacceptable that the defending champions were playing on a day that their fixture essentially was second fiddle. Gold Stars should not have played on the same day as Asante Kotoko. I thought that you perhaps start the season with Bibiani Gold Stars, right, or Asante Kotoko, because if the idea is that you want Kotoko to have enough rest for their Confederations Cup affair this weekend, then they should have played as early as possible. So open the season with Kotoko or Gold Stars, right? Let Gold Stars play on a different day than Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko. On a day that they...
This is having the media storylines deliberately planned.
Yes, on a day that you then have the attention of the country and the football supports base, not just for Gold Stars, but also so that even for the Sunday's fixtures, I don't think that they were projected as well as they ought to. So those are things that you need to change. For the clubs themselves, I think they also need to be deliberate about selling their products to the people that they want to pay money to go and watch them, because I didn't see any noise from Hearts of Oak about their season. I didn't see any noise
and in
from
fact,
Kotoko.
considering the fact that there were stories about the president likely to be there to take the ceremonial kick, there should have been that deliberate effort to have people in the stadium. But
yeah, and that bit is the responsibility of the clubs. This is your business. If you want people to patronize it, you need to market it. You can't do business in the dark. The final point for me has to be the infrastructure. If you're going to put as much money as we've seen the government put forward for the Ghana Premier League, you might as well...
You're all saying government.
Yeah, but that's the point.
You have...
Okay.
I mean, that's the point.
So, assuming, without admitting that we're wrong, let's make a logical assessment here. For years, you have covered the GFA Congress, and you have heard their audited finances. Yeah. They more or less...
In fact, this one, I have the current document. Their money,
they always run into losses. A few times, they break even. Yeah. It is not an organization that has over 40 million Ghana cedis sitting that it can pump into one product. Yeah. That is the Ghana Premier League, especially one that does not always have strong return on investment. The other party in that 3 arrangements is Adisa Productions. Why they are not the entity that will put that kind of money into the Ghana Premier League. So it is logical to infer or to guess that...
Hey, journalism.
No, I'm saying that, of course, it is fair for anyone to say we don't have evidence that it is government that is paying the money or putting the money up front. That is fair. But by the same token, it is also fair to look at the finances of the three parties involved in this and look at which of them is more likely to have the means to put this money on the table.
That is fine. The point well noted.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. As you, I saw a document on the screen here.
Yeah.
I don't know if Pamela could just give it to us briefly. It's about how the Division 1 League club, King Faisal, has dragged the Ghana Football Association to court. I just need to deal with that for me briefly because we need to do Guinness. Guinness, the anyone day.
Be careful. Be careful before you say what you're not supposed to say.
Yes, you can.
Look,
but talk to me about that.
So, King Faisal have written to CAS.
Okay, so I've seen the thing here. I'm going there.
Yeah. So they've written to CAS and they are asking the Court of Arbitration for Sport, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's not the full document itself. But that just gives you...
No, but this, I see this because the document is in 3 pages.
Yeah.
And what they are basically, this is a response they got from the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
Yeah.
After submitting to them that they want the Ghana Football Association decision to extend the tenure of the president from 2 to 3 terms nullified.
Yeah.
Talk to me
So
about
basically,
on what basis are they on this tangent?
Well, 5 grounds. The first of them is the abridged notice period.
Okay.
That the unanimous, without the unanimous consent of members. So the notice period has to do with, usually Congress, I think about 3 weeks before Congress, you have to send the business of the day to members. Yeah, you have to put it in circulation to members, and then they look at it. If anyone has any comments or any communication, it prepares them. For those who want to share correspondence and reply the Ghana Football Association, they do that before the day of Congress.
And even if we have ideas to suggest into the agenda.
Yes, sometimes you put that into writing and all of that. Well, according to King Faisal, through their lawyers, they are claiming that the notice was abridged, which means it does not meet the threshold that the provisions of Congress states. So that is something that they also need to prove and then argue. The second point is the undisclosed real and potential conflict of interest involving the chairperson of the AGM. The August 12th
Which
Congress...
is the president here, because he actually stands to benefit when the decision is...
Thank you very much. The next point is that is a claim of improper bundling of issues voted and overvoting. For those who watched my interview with the GFA General Secretary Prosper Arisnado, he explained that the reason they lumped all of the issues together is that they all fall under one statute. More to the point, when they released the notice of Congress to members, no one raised an objection on any of the singular issues, any of the individual issues, I have to say. And so in keeping with the convention of CAF and at FIFA, where there is no objection to any of the issues to be debated upon or voted, they are lumped together and voted on. But the question that I asked at the time was, what if someone has a change of mind on the day of Congress based on new information available to them? What if someone has a change of mind a few days or 2 days before Congress? If you lump all of those issues together and they are in favor of 2 of them, but not the other, or they are in favor of 1 and not the other. So, for example, on the composition of the Executive Council, on the decision to make the second Vice President a preserve of female football administrators within that space, on the decision of the 3rd term limit. What if someone agrees with the 3rd term limit, but is not in favor of making a woman an automatic beneficiary of the second Vice President? So those are the issues that the Ghana Football Association have to answer, and King Faisal have indicated that. And also, the denial of poll after a show of hands. They are contending that after the person who was moderating Congress at the time, the chairperson, asked that if you were in favor of that, you show hands, he is saying that the FA president and the chairman of Congress should have mentioned the specific numbers and gone into detail the polls from that voting exercise.
But that was
beyond the flat numbers that were given. I'm not sure what exactly they mean beyond what the FA did.
They would have to,
explain. And then they also, the 5th point sounds a bit vague, undue influence. So I'm sure with the supporting affidavits and the other documents, they would have to explain what the undue incidence is. So they are seeking, these are the reliefs that they are seeking.
Yeah.
They are seeking an injunction restraining the GFA from implementing or enforcing the third term. In fact, the resolution.
We'll have to discuss these things subsequently. We have to do Guinness match day now.
Okay.
Benaya, give us some highlights of matches that were played in England, especially the Manchester Derby, and then we'll come back and then talk about other issues. But before that, we're taking a quick break. We'll be back soon. Spa or CAS, when they hit you 6, they say Ayele. That is 3, isn't it? So you have to take Ayele.
There's a message that you read
before
we did the highlights.
Yes.
I think that the gentleman summed up my thoughts on Ruben.
That's far from...
My point of departure will be the fact that we've gone past the stage of waiting and hoping that he is going to have a different approach to this. Let's look at this table, yeah? Since he's been in the Premier League, he has managed 31 games, 7 games short of a full season. In that time, no manager has performed worse than him.
So,
31 points from 31 games.
So assuming he had a full season, he would have been relegated?
Oh, he would have But last season, the bulk of the points that secured survival for Manchester United were won by Erik ten Hag. Were won by Erik ten Hag. And I say Man United should fire Ruben Amorim for the simple fact that he is unresponsive and is ridiculously stubborn. If you look at the period in which he's been the manager in charge of the club, he's always said that, for him, he's never going to move away from his back three. I don't have an issue with the back three. The problem I have, in fact, the problem results have had, this one is not a matter of opinion. It is what the results have shown him. Because results have a way of communicating to you the quality of your ideas in terms relative to football outcomes. If the ideas are good, it will manifest in the way the team sets up. Over the years, or in the 10 months or so that he's been in charge of the team, he has proven incapable of adjusting things in-game. Playing with a back three is all well and good. But what it means in the middle of the park, what it means in the second and third phases of the build-up in your attack, how often you create chances, who are the key actors in the build-up phase? Are you able to involve your best players in the game? That is the problem for Manchester United. And this Manchester derby, they lost it within a 5 to 6 minute spell. Bruno Fernandes broke it down beautifully. And he basically said, when United were with the ball and were being pressed by City, they were overloaded. They were swamped. Because United were essentially contained in that middle with 2 midfielders, yeah? Ugarte, who can't pass the ball, who can't track a run, who can't tackle, and serves no purpose in the middle, and Bruno Fernandes. They came up against Man City's 4. City were pressing United with 4 players, Rodri, Tijani Reinders, Bernardo Silva, and either of Haaland and Phil Foden. Occasionally, they interchanged. So you have this 4 swarming Man United's 2. For the first goal, Bruno Fernandes was explaining that sometimes he sees the space and thinks that he can do two things at a time. And that's what he tried to do. The problem then was his teammates. Lenny Yoro had also seen the danger and was trying to react, but was caught in 2 minds because fundamentally he also has someone that he's responsible for. This is something that happened in the second half against Arsenal.
In essence, Amorim should be fired.
Oh, he should be fired.
Wow.
He should be fired because over 10 months, he has not been able to react to this. And you see, it is not because he's not intelligent enough to see these patterns. No. If we, who have no tactical training, can see it, if the players who have no proper tactical education can see it, the coach clearly can. But the problem for Amorim and coaches like him is that, unlike everyone else, it is their responsibility to not just see that, but respond appropriately and still be able to restore the balance of the team. Okay. And that is why because he knows he cannot fix that, he would rather stick with his back three that is dysfunctional, even if it means losing every game and getting fired.
Thank you very much. Tactical VAT. Which game do you want to tackle?
No, I just want to talk about the Manchester United thing. I think it's obvious that the man says that it's not going to change. But if we're stubborn, then I think the club would just have to make a decision. You see, you look at the statistics that I just spelled out. It's staggering and worrying, you know. But for me, and yesterday I read
31 match.
Yeah, and he had 31 points. And
that should be like 90 how many points if you were to win all of them?
Yeah,
93.
93 points.
Yeah, and yesterday I came across.
He's at the bottom.
Yeah, and yesterday I came across a statistics where even the 8 games that he's won, half of them are against newly promoted sides.
Yeah.
It's just not good. And you see, finally, I think that, you see, he came in with a much expectation that, listen, perhaps like what the Ineos and then the Manchester United hierarchy told him, it is now or never. So he came with a high expectation. But Mufti, I don't think that you come in with a high expectation and looking at what you did last season. You've had time to do a pre-season, and now in the new season, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything, different like what he did. He's not improving the players. He's not changing anything. I was saying that, like I just said, I think I side with him. There's nothing wrong with playing the back three, but it's simple that if the back three is not working, and if we're not getting the right players to play the structure that you want to play, tweak it, change it. It's basic.
Tweak it, change it, and that is basic. But Amorim, it appears, is not basic for him. That is our show for tonight. There's UEFA Champions League football. You can see the fixtures on your screen. It makes a return tomorrow and also this Wednesday. That is UEFA Champions League football for you. Show proudly brought to you by Kivu 4-in-1 Gary Soakins. Make some Gary Soakins. Yeah, easy Guinness, yes, we can. This segment brought to you by Guinness and Piva, Natural Mineral Water. They've all come together to ensure that we brought you Sports Zone tonight. See you again next Monday. Thank you very much for your company.